This shit's fire.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Pin the Gas Podcast, where we cater to your motorcycle needs and racing desires. Here today, of course, I am Cool Jules. We got Chris, the whole Eppin Show, Simcoe, and our guest of the afternoon, the women plower, the money shower, the gift of Gower, Mr. Andrew Gawer. Welcome to the show, bro.
Oh man, what an intro.
Ladies and gentlemen, announcing. Could you imagine that? That'd be so sick.
Like
That's awesome.
Some Bruce Buff or Michael Buffer shit, man. I don't know if you watch UFC, but my Bruce Buffer be getting me hype.
Yeah, no, that guy's a legend. Yeah, I felt like I was a pro boxer for a second there.
Good.
Oh
good,
shit,
good,
man.
good.
Anyway, well, welcome to the show, bro. We appreciate you. We were supposed to have you the day before, but you know your boy has to go out there and make actual paper cash to pay the bills. Speaking of bills, Chris is actually working right now. He's podcasting while he's at work.
I am, Andrew. I'm blessed with bosses that support the podcast and let me do it from work.
Wow, that's pretty unbelievable. I'm not gonna lie. I can't think of many jobs that would
It's fucking nuts,
let you do that.
dude.
I know. So
I
yeah,
wish my boss
it's
was that lenient. Shit. Oh, we lost
I feel
him.
blessed and it's amazing.
Oh no, we lost him.
Sorry, he'll come back on.
Yeah, he'll come back. But anywho, yeah.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, this
But
podcast
anywho-
doesn't pay for our bills as much as I wanted to.
Yeah,
It's just
maybe
one of
in the
these days,
future.
Chris.
That's right. That's right.
One of
One
these
of these days we will. So
I like-
yeah.
The way that I have it set up right now is I have the app running here, but I also have it on my computer, and I'm so used to this just being my camera, and I'm looking here when you guys are here. So it is what it is. I mean, so we'll chat a little bit until Andrew comes back. It shouldn't be that difficult to join in because he's already done it. But Andrew Gower
No.
is a clown, yo. Like I see his Facebook posts, his Instagram posts, and I think they're the most hilarious thing. Like, dude is just top tier comedian, internet comedian.
He
Oh,
is.
he's
Yes, he is. He's super funny. Yeah. And he's
Yeah. He's hold on. Let me tell him. Can you rejoin us? Yeah. So he's probably gonna have to restart the app. If anything, I can.
that's fine.
Yeah. No, we're good. We're good. We're gonna keep rolling. We keep rolling. That's
Yeah,
what Pin the Gas is. We're just gonna
we'll
keep
just
rolling with
going.
it.
I mean,
And he's back.
that's it. We're just gonna keep. There he
Yeah,
is.
there you go. Hey, what's up, man?
Hey, yeah, I don't know what happened. It was just everything.
Riverside, get your shit together. How we gonna expect Riverside to be our software of choice if they keep fucking up? But they have great customer service.
Yeah,
so I
no
won't
shit,
lie.
right?
Now, Andrew, I was telling Chris about how much of a clown you are on social media.
Mm.
It shit
Man, I have
is-
my moments. You should have seen when I was like 19, 20. I was way wild back then. Like no filter at all.
That's what the
I
show
think
is,
it's
man.
mega.
No filter.
I love it.
We talk so much shit here, bro. You're free to say whatever the hell you want.
Yeah.
Is-
Anything
yeah.
you want to say, Andrew?
Yeah. Anything you want to say? Is there any rider that is riding now that you think is trash?
Ooh, man. I mean,
Love it.
you know, the thing is, I feel like in general, like everyone I'm pretty cool with, like 95% of the writers, like we're either respectful or, even if you don't like each other, at least just like don't say anything. Just, it's like school. You don't like the guy, you walk by him, whatever.
Right.
But there is that that handful. Well, you probably already know who I'm thinking of. There's that one rider that just has such a hard on for me that never actually shows up to race me. Even if I fly across the country to go race, she won't show up on the grid.
Oh, she.
Yeah, she.
Oh, it's a woman.
Yeah, it is. At least I think it is.
You never know. It's 2023.
Yeah, I mean, with all the filters and makeup
Facts.
nowadays, who really knows? But
Yeah, man. Take a trip to Thailand, bro.
no, no. What's her real name? Brittany
Oh,
LaPrade. That's her name. Yeah.
oh.
But this girl,
Yes.
I need to see her actually race because she's been trying to egg me on for like at least 2 years now, right?
Yeah.
So this all started because it's been a while now. It's been like a good 2 or 3 years, but I noticed this like profile pop up on like one of the riding groups on Facebook or Instagram or something, and I saw this girl's bio, and I was like, okay, it looks like she does track days or race or something. She's got numbers on her bike, and then I saw in her bio it said like an AMA number, all these other numbers, like pro rider. I was like, dang! I was like, I'm surprised there's a AMA pro rider I hadn't heard about, right? Because there's really not that many, to be honest. And so I look into her. I'm like, well, that's kind of cool. Like, there's another female Moto America rider that I hadn't heard of. But then I look into it, and I'm like, wait a minute, she doesn't have any like results. She doesn't have a race number with the AMA. I'm like, that's kind of weird.
Mm-hmm.
So I look at her social media profiles a little bit more, and I realized that she'd been wearing the Moto America patch on her suit for like a couple years. She had been claiming the AMA number in her bio, all that stuff. But she never actually got a race license or like did any pro races. She was kind of just like riding the clout without doing it.
Is that?
So I made a little bit of a meme about that. And of course, that
I love it.
That went on fire with like thousands and thousands of views and reshares and all that crap.
Thousands.
So this chick obviously gets super butthurt about that, right? Because I mean, I guess I did call her out. It really wasn't anything personal against her. I just saw this opportunity to make a funny meme because. Yeah, it's kind of funny, right? Call out someone like clout chasing.
It is absolutely.
Real quick. Is it like the stolen valor equivalent?
Yeah, that's totally the word. Yeah, it's like when you go to like Denny's and there's the guy that like obviously bought some like 10-year-old army uniform from Goodwill. Yeah. That's basically Brittany. But for motorcycle racing. I'm just gonna keep it real. Keep it real.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So anyways, I make the meme and
oh no. Damn right.
Oh no.
Shit.
I know. Why does it keep doing that?
I have no clue, man. I think it's.
Yeah, I don't need it,
because,
man.
I don't know. Riverside really fucking with us, bro. That's what we like. We like, a little bit of controversy, because Chris, I swear to God,
no, absolutely.
If we were always so clean cut and so polished, where would the sport go? And I understand. Yeah, and I understand, like, the general older audience, the foreign audience is like, well, we want to be presented as gentlemen, yes men, like we care for our sport, we love our sport. But look at sports like soccer, bro. Look at sports like MMA, boxing, basketball, what's like a really big international sport, like rugby. Why are
you just said it?
Why are the welcome back.
Yeah, it looks like it just randomly froze again, so I just left and reconnected.
Oh, yeah. Good. Hopefully Riverside.
So anyway, we was in the middle of this epic story.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. I don't know about epic, but it is a story. Okay, so anyways, she calls me out. And I've never met this lady other than making the meme. I really don't know anything about her. It's just like every day I learn something new. This story just like gets worse. And I'm not. I don't even think I should. I don't even think I should like trash talk her personal life.
No.
That's whatever.
No.
But
she did come after you.
yeah, she did. And then I learned like more about her kind of like paddock reputation and like all these. It started to make more sense why this was happening. So she calls me out to a pro race.
Uh-huh.
And of course it's like whatever. I'm like, okay, that's like me saying, Josh Aaron, I'm gonna beat you in Spain. I'm like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
But then I realized kind of early on that this race is never gonna happen because she's actually too old for the class that I was racing at the time.
Right.
Because I was 28 and she's like two. Yeah, I was 27. Yeah, I was like 27, 28.
Yeah.
And she's a couple years older than me. So, and I was already pretty old to be racing the small bike class. I was on that kind of cusp of the limit. So in my head, I'm thinking, okay, this race is never even going to happen anyways, but whatever, let's ride the hype train. Views are views, right? So this just goes on for like half the season. She's just like making shit talk. Other guys are making memes. There's this guy, Nate, that made these like hilarious video memes. He made this like 1 minute video meme where it's like he puts my face over John Cena's body in the WWE. So I'm like, yeah. So you can just imagine how that one went. So like, it's all hyped up, whatever. Anyways, race comes and goes. Well, first people kind of like realize that she's not going to race, right? So then I'm like, okay, well, she has a couple 600s, and I got offered ride really generously from this guy, Robbie Rignalda. I'll give him a little bit of a shout out. If you need R6 parts or an R6, hit him up. So Robbie generously offered me to race at the Wear Grand National Final, and it was at the same track that she had called me out in Barber, Alabama, and so I was like, okay, we'll go race there. She's got 2 different bikes that are eligible, and she lives way close. I live all the way in California. I'm like a 5-day drive away from this track, right?
Right.
So I fly out, I buy the tickets, pay my race entry, spend like, I don't know, $1,500, whatever it is for all that stuff. So it wasn't cheap. Anyways, yeah, she never shows up to the race.
Oh shit.
After the year of calling me out and shit talking and all that, she blue balls us. Yeah, not showing up.
That's
damn.
I can't.
And to be even a little bit, I don't know. There's this word in German. We have Schadenfreude, which is a kind of a messed up word.
Schadenfreude.
Yeah, it's the pleasure derived from others' misfortune. It's kind of a messed up word, but yeah, since she called me out, she hasn't been racing at all. She missed like the whole season of racing.
Holy shit!
I don't know.
Injury.
Mysterious injury. Yeah.
So I guess that's a W for me. And the round went pretty well, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well. Got these little.
You definitely got to take your W's where you can get them, especially if someone's calling you out like that. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
Because in other sports where the sport is more easily accessible, you get shit done outside your house. You know what I mean? Like if someone's talking shit to me. Yo, let's go on the court right now. Let's go. Let's get it on.
Let's do it.
But for you to spend $1,500 and days upon days of your time, gas money, all this stuff just to go down there and no call, no show. That's a pretty bitch move right there, yo.
It is a bitch move. Straight up bitch move.
Valentino Rossi could never.
Could never.
We lost him again.
We lost him again.
The point is, Chris, is that even though, you know, there are a lot of people, a lot of race fans that want to stick to the traditional ideal of let's be respectful, let's be clean and proper. That shit. If money and target audience is your goal, you're not going to get through with that philosophy. I guarantee it.
Yeah. It's just like the saying goes, "Fuck around and find out."
For real. Throw a whole bunch of shit
Fuck
against
around
the
and
wall.
find out. That's it. Fuck around and find out.
But that's crazy, Andrew, because man, like I said, like you spent all that money, all that time to
And
get out
effort
there
yeah.
and walk the walk. Even if you did lose, at least you got out there and you did it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I had a lot of fun, and that's kind of the funny thing about all this is I started racing just because I like motorcycles since I was like 4 years old. I thought it was cool. I wanted to ride bikes, and I had enough talent to like start racing, and just everything worked. So for me, it was just I was like, I don't know, like I'll feed the drama because I know it gets the views and attention, and like it gets people going. But I just wanted to go out and race a track at Barber. I wanted to race a 600. I'd never ridden an R6 before, so I got to race the 600. I got to race at Barber.
Very nice.
And I mean, yeah, the internet clouds, whatever. You know what's really funny? You mentioned she no called, no showed. Not only did she bitch out of the race, pardon my language.
No, you good.
Go ahead.
She also had the nerve to try and like talk crap about my results, like while I was at the race, because we have live timing and stuff, so you can see like practice, qualifying, race events. Yeah, so she's going on social media, like making posts, like there was so the weather was pretty cold in the morning in Alabama. This event, it was like in like the low 40s, which is pretty cold for track riding.
Yeah, that is cold.
And I never raced this R6, and it's not my R6, so I'm like thinking it's never good when in the back of your head you're thinking I don't want to crash, and you're never gonna like ride as well.
Right.
But I really didn't want to crash this guy's bike across the country.
Facts.
So it's like 40 degrees out in the morning, and I have some laps at Barber, but I don't remember that well. So I'm kind of relearning the track, learning the new bike. Obviously, I'm not doing race pace. And she takes the screenshot of my like slow warm-up laps at like 9 in the morning, and she like tries to like post that around everywhere, like she's so much better or whatever. After not showing up to the race.
Yeah, that's some bullshit, right? Yeah, that's just low down dirty shit right there.
Dude, for real. Like
that's
I know.
What are you trying to prove just coming after somebody?
Right.
Bro.
Nah.
She's lucky. She's lucky that this is motorsports, so there are excuses as to why someone will show up: money, parts, time, whatever. And she's lucky that it's not like some sort of like regular sport, like freaking Muay Thai.
I don't know, baseball, hockey, or
hockey,
soccer.
Soccer definitely you can play one-on-one. Basketball definitely you can play one-on-one.
Yeah.
Sparring, like you just lucky. Lucky jiu-jitsu, whatever. So actually, I'll let Chris ask you because I kind of hogged that first segment right there.
Nah, dude, you're good. You're good. I enjoyed the story, Andrew. That's fucking awesome. And that
good shit.
I know. Like at the end of the day, it's honestly really stupid, horrible story, but
it's fucking wonderful.
It ended up being great. Yeah, I got to. I think it's up there behind me. That was the 50th. I didn't know this when I signed up. This was the 50th anniversary of the Warwick National Final. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of cool to like be part of that history. I didn't really know this was like such a long running event. So thinking guys were out there on track in like the 80s tearing it up, and you're doing the same thing. It's kind of cool.
That's right. Faster. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So tell us about that R6 you rode. Did you like it? Yeah,
I did. I ended up getting to. No, I'm not gonna say it was garbage. It was definitely it's definitely a good bike. I ended up riding a different R6 in the very last race because the motor in that, or sorry, not the motor, but something that had happened to that R6. I wasn't riding it. It was a long story, but anyways, I think like the radiator had popped or the bike overheated. Something was up with it, so I wasn't able to use it for the last race. So I ended up racing another R6. And I like that R6 more a little bit, just like the way it was tuned in the suspension. But the R6 was a really good bike.
What year?
You know, it's hard to. What year was it? It was.
Oh no!
Oh, no!
Damn, Riverside. Really
no!
Riverside. Come on, man. It's all good. We're still filling in the blanks every time he leaves.
Yeah.
So we still got something going on.
But man, that was a great story. Talking trash, man. That's what we need, right?
Talking shit is what we need. The R6. I've never ridden an R6. Chris, have you?
I have. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I would have rolled that motherfucker like I stole it. Somebody gonna let me race it on the track.
What year?
I've ridden a let's see, when I went to MMI in '99, the first R6
Right
edition
back.
come out. I rode that,
It
and then
looks
my
like
buddy bought an '08. I rode that, and then the last one I rode was a 2016.
Sorry, I had frozen. I had to drop and read the end. I don't know what, like
You're good.
It's all good, brother.
It is.
But yeah, I think you froze. No,
I think it froze up again.
Oh,
yeah.
there you go.
Oh, there it goes.
Good.
So what year R6, Andrew?
So I think it was a 2016. And then I was saying something like how I think that the bike really hasn't changed as a whole fundamentally since like 08, 09. I think they've kind of just been making small changes as it's gone.
Right.
Kind of. But like, I was gonna say. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say kind of like the ZX6R, right? From 2009 onwards, pretty much. It's fundamentally almost the same.
Yeah. So in like the UK, my understanding, and I don't know if it's all Europe or just Britain, but they're actually still using the 09 to 12 ZX6R.
Yeah.
Somehow they still get it over there. Yeah, the bike really hasn't fundamentally changed that much. For the 2013 model, they almost made it worse for racing, to be honest. If you take some of the 09 to 12 parts and put it on the 2013 and up bike, it's a little bit better. Like I've heard that the shock linkage on the 09 to 12 is a little bit better. But like the frame, the swing arm, the wheels, everything's really about the same. 2013 got traction control, but even the 2022, 23, like brand new bike right now, it's still throttled by cable. It's not by wire.
Right.
And it does now come with a quick shifter stock, which is pretty cool, especially for being like a $10,000 bike.
Right.
You do get a lot for the money.
You do, you do. Because I got a 2011, so that's awesome.
Yeah, and your 2011 is literally 95% the same as my 2016.
Yeah,
and I mean they did stroke the motor to a 636, but even the motor is still basically the same motor. They just changed it a bit. Like some of like the gaskets and stuff are even the same parts from the old motor.
Yeah,
right. They're all pretty much interchangeable.
Yeah, because you two have definitely more riding experience than I do. So I have a 2007 GSX-R. Do you guys feel like the older bikes were much better? Had like a much better feel around the track than like some of the newer bikes with all the electronics. Like did you feel more in tune with what the bike brings with an older bike than with like a new bike?
That's a big question to answer, and I think that depends a lot on just like the age of the person you're asking. Because if you ask some of these guys a little bit older, 40, 50, 60, some of them really don't like the modern electronics. They really like the more analog feel of riding the bike, where it's like you're doing everything yourself. Like even before the stuff that like some of us don't even think about, like pretty much all the super bikes now have slipper clutches. But in like the 80s, they're still like letting the clutch out a little bit, trying to like keep the wheel from locking up. Stuff that we really don't even have to think about.
Yeah.
Me personally, I kind of like how it is with the ZX6, where I have a slipper clutch, I have a quick shifter, but I don't have auto blip. I actually ride with the traction control off. Maybe I'll try putting it back on and play with it, but I don't think 600s really need traction control.
Yeah, fact.
To be ridden.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, especially for street riding, I think it's good to have that safety net.
If it's raining, maybe.
Barely.
Yeah.
I mean, not really. I mean, come on, man. It's
jackasses.
yeah. So,
when I say that, I'm thinking more of accessibility to the average rider, because to be honest, a lot of people out there riding just a lot of it's lack of training, and I say that as I do train a lot of riders, but a lot of people, they really don't have that much experience, and they're out buying like 600s and thousands. So at least with electronics, they don't instantly kill themselves. That's
true.
kind of how I see it. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, on 600, you really don't need all that, though, right? Like you said, it's not
No.
a bike that produces so much power. You're
So,
really going to
yeah.
get in trouble, right? But as far as my answer to that question, man, it's like I like them both. I like the feel of the old school.
Yeah.
Even like my 2011's got a slipper clutch, right? But I don't have a quick shift or any of that stuff. But
I don't even know what a slipper clutch feels like.
but basically, all slipper clutch goes. So if you have ride a bike without a slipper clutch and you go from 6th to 2nd gear, right? You got to match the revs up. So you got to blip the throttle to match the revs up before you downshift. But you got a bike with a slipper clutch, you can just go from 6th to 2nd and dump the clutch. And inside the clutch, you have a ball and a ramp. And what it does is it releases the clutch, right? So it releases the clutch into a neutral state until you touch the throttle again, and then it picks up and goes again. So
I don't even know if my bike has that. Probably not. It's an 07.
I don't know if the Gixxer and 07 come with a slipper clutch. I know my 2011 ZX6R has one.
Doesn't even have traction control.
No,
So,
mine don't either.
Andrew, I'm one of those maniacs that for my first bike, I bought a GSXR 750. But I mean, in terms of
That's funny.
my approach to motorcycle riding, I took it in a very analytical approach. Like I did hours upon hours of research, man. Like I did a whole year. Like during 2020 when I had that bug, I was doing so much research. I was reading so many books. I was listening to so many reviews, so many how-to videos. So much so that when I got the bike, aside from stalling a couple times, I was able to kind of ride it around the block like it was nothing. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't nervous. I was more just like, all right, let's get this going. I started getting nervous when I started riding outside my neighborhood. That's when I was like, oh shit. So
With the cars, yeah.
but in terms of actually like riding technically a super bike,
No, definitely. That's
as my first bike, I think I did pretty damn good. Now I'm like sliding the rear, and I'm having so much fun with it. Like I'm standing on top of the bike too. Like
the riding style, like the younger generation that's up and coming now, is different than the older generation because of all the electronics that the bikes have on them, right? So now they're getting on them at a lot early age. And so that goes back to a conversation I had earlier with a friend of mine. The difference why don't the old GP style work in MotoGP anymore, the riding style, is because the flat track riding style back in the day, the bikes didn't have all that electronics on it. So you were able to use that style to bend that bike and ride it and get the most out of it. Now that the electronics in the whole game has changed in motorcycles, that flat track style don't work anymore, right?
Yeah.
With the electronics. So yeah. I see it as a plus and a minus, but I'm with Andrew. Just a little bit of electronics maybe, but other than that, yeah.
It's too much shit.
Yeah, just let it rip, man. Because it's
rid of
more
the
raw
ride
emotion,
height
right, Andrew?
Yeah, I guess I get more of that feeling riding dirt bikes, to be honest. That I guess if you want to call it like that raw feeling, because
Oh yeah.
like after we're done with this, I'll probably go riding motocross today. It's been like a month, break off that. Yeah, lucky me.
Yeah, you're gonna be sore tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm gonna be sore. I'm gonna be sore. I'm gonna be sore 5 minutes into it. I'm taking like a month off.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess you do get more of that raw feeling, especially when you're riding like flat track and dirt track. But
Right. You feel more of that connection, not riding a computer.
Yeah, I don't know. But with these new super bikes, it's really, even with the electronics, really difficult to ride them fast. So
That's true.
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you're right.
I've never had the luxury of actually riding a newer bike. The newest bike, I rode a Triumph Street Triple 765 for a little bit. It was pretty cool. It wasn't.
Yeah, they're nice. Yeah.
It felt so weird, like standing on top of the bike. I was like sitting on top of the bike. I was like, what the fuck is this? And then just like after that experience, I was like, I don't see myself on a naked bike for a minute because I was just like, this is weird, dude. But,
So Andrew, tell us about your first race experience.
oh yes.
Oh man, my first race experience.
Yeah, man. Let me hear the first race
Yes.
experience.
The
With,
smack.
yeah. Like first set of leather suits you bought that were 2 sizes too big. The boots maybe being a little too big. Yeah, helmet
Nike
wrong size.
You know,
Yeah.
The whole
you
set.
know. So all my gear did fit well. My first race. So I.
Oh no.
Oh,
Oh, it's all good. Damn. I'm still waiting for my first track experience, man. Like
you'll get
I
it.
have a 2-piece suit. So it's not really much, but at least
What
it's there.
size
It's
is it?
protecting. So the jacket went by small, medium, large. It's an XL, but it is a little tight. If it was a double X, it would have been. I mean, it
Perfect,
fits
yeah.
snug now, but a double X would have been a little bit more comfortable.
Okay.
So,
Yeah,
Andrew was
it
talking about
froze up on me again. So I don't know what I said before it froze, but
all your stuff.
but
fit.
yeah.
All your stuff
Yeah.
fit good.
Yeah, he's talking about how his like his first leathers fit, and he pretty much had like a very good first. Oh, there he's back. Oh,
Yeah.
There he is.
So I was living in Hayward in this little apartment, and I had
Hayward?
Hayward.
Oh, the Bay
and
Area.
I lived in the
Oh,
Bay
shit.
Area for quite a while.
Love it.
And
know some
I had
Bay.
gotten out of the active duty Navy, and I was back in the Navy Reserve, so I had more time.
Yeah.
And I got really lucky. Like I'd been doing track days, but I really hadn't thought about racing. I just kind of was like enjoying riding a little bit faster on the track.
Uh-huh.
And literally like 12, 15 minutes away from me down the street, ended up being this retired racer named Steve Mandeville that raced AFM in like the 90s.
Mhm.
And he kind of found me, and he's like, he was like, maybe you should think about racing. Seems like you're doing pretty well. And I found this Ninja 250 deal for like $2,600, and it had tire warmers, had a transponder, stands. It was pretty much everything I needed to go race.
Oh,
So I bought that
shit.
Ninja 250. I already had some gear. I think I ended up getting my very first sponsorship deal ever was with AXO. It was just a half off deal, but to me that was like the best thing ever.
How
Because
the
Right.
fuck did you
Nobody.
land that?
Right. I made it.
I-
Yes.
you know what? I just applied. That's all. Sometimes it's just like knocking down the doors until someone says yes.
But you didn't
just
race.
ask the
And,
question.
And I was lucky to have that good mentorship, because by knowing
Holy
a couple
shit.
guys that already had racing experience, they were able to kind of guide me in the right direction. So I got the access suit. I only weighed like maybe 150 pounds, 155 max.
Oh, must
So
be
all
nice.
those Italian brands fit me really well off the rack. So like my suit fit well because I was just super lean. And all those Italian suits are kind of designed for that like kind of slender European
It
guy.
is.
Yeah.
It is.
Make your butt
No,
look
it is.
small.
It is. Because
Yeah.
I actually got an Alpine Star suit, an RS Tachi suit, and they're brand new, man. And they're my size, but they're not my size at all.
I'm dead.
Right.
Yeah, it's like I'm trying to
Yeah.
suck everything in. I'm not
the
really that big of a
American
guy
food,
neither, right? It's like, yeah, not gonna happen.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's a whole nother discussion. But anyway, so I got some gear. I had a helmet. I already had gloves and boots.
Mhm.
Trying to think. And I really didn't know anyone. That was the tough part. It's tough kind of just like showing up. You don't really know anyone.
Or what to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I ended up getting really lucky early on. Like my first round or two, you guys might have heard of Spears Racing before.
Yes.
No, I haven't.
In Manteca. So
Mhm.
he was pretty big in AFM overall, and he was helping out the small bike class a lot. So I was actually able to pit with Spears Racing my first couple rounds, and
Very nice.
that helped out. But it was really nerve wracking. I'm not gonna. I remember the first 5 race starts I had were
Mhm.
just like just like max like 180 beats per minute. Like you're just like so nervous
Just
to do
pure
the race
adrenaline.
start.
Right.
And I mean, I never did anything stupid. I didn't like loop out on the start. I didn't crash. I don't think I crashed until my I don't know, but I think like 4 or 5 race rounds, and it went pretty well. So since I was on the 250, I was mostly having to race 300s back then.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
There was still a 250 class, and there was probably like 6 or 7 250 riders, but the 300s and the R3 were already out, and the R3 was like the hot bike at that time because
Yeah.
the 400 wasn't out, and the Ninja 300 was a smaller motor. It wasn't as fast.
Yeah.
And I think the R3 probably handled better too.
Yeah,
because
it did.
the Ninja,
I'd say so.
the Ninja 300 actually had the same frame as the old Ninja 250, so it really wasn't that great of a bike in retrospect. So it was tough for me. The 250.
Speaking of the 250, and I kind of wanted to bring up this point. The Ninja 250, the 2021 Ninja 250 came out, and like, oh, he's back.
Yeah, it froze up on me again. But I was just saying, the 250s were really slow even compared to the 300, so I had to work a little bit harder. And the 250 was actually carbureted.
Right. Yeah, those were fuel injected.
When did they become fuel injected?
The 300. 2020?
2013, I think, is when the Ninja 300 came out.
Damn.
Yeah. Because my 250 was like a 2011 or a 2012, maybe. Yeah, it was still carbureted, and I really had no idea about carburetors. I like barely do now. Like I just know enough to like ride the bike and like keep it going, but I don't know about jetting or like how the slides work and all that stuff.
I do. I know all that.
Yeah. Yeah, we know Chris does.
Bread and butter.
Yeah.
But,
so Andrew, did you have any like track day experience before your first race? Like, have you been been on a street bike before? Or?
I had, before my very first race, I had, no joke, probably only like 9 or 10 months of track riding. I got into it really fast. Yeah, I did my first track day. It was at Z2, and I was on my ZX6R because I bought it brand new as a street bike. You know, typical military guy. Right. You know, I had like all these thousands of dollars saved up from deployment. Yeah. What was I going to do? So I went and bought a super bike.
Very nice. I'd have done the same thing.
I did with my COVID.
Take it to the dealership. As soon as I get off the boat, right to the dealership.
Yeah. I had been riding the Ninja 300 as a street bike. So, yeah, I'd already ridden street bikes before. My dad had bikes up until I was around like 13, and he ended up selling them. So I had been around bikes. I vaguely remember riding a dirt bike. Like, I really can't even remember, but around when I was like 5'6", I think I rode one like once. But even though my dad was so into bikes and racing, my mom was really against like the danger of riding motorcycles. So I ended up playing. I ended up playing baseball for like 9 years instead of motorcycle riding.
That was actually one of my questions. I enjoy asking different motorcycle riders or racers if they ever played any other sports growing up. Was baseball like the only thing you indulged in?
No. So I started riding bicycles at 3, and I never did like BMX as a competition. But in like the late 90s, early 2000s, that was like the thing. Like BMX, skateboarding, like even rollerblading was still like cool back then. Yeah, you know. Yeah. So when I was a little kid, so I would ride bicycles all the time. I played t-ball and then baseball. And I played baseball up until around like high school.
What position?
I wrestled. I played outfield. I played third base, and I played second base a little bit. I tried pitching. Was okay at pitching, but it's like you really got to be good to be a good pitcher.
Right.
So I tried a bunch of different positions. I did play a little bit of hockey, and then I wrestled my freshman year of high school too. But I found that to be really, really difficult because I was always kind of like the smaller, like really just like I was always just really skinny, like skin and bones. So, so I was usually wrestling guys in a higher weight class, and it was just so tough.
Yeah, it's like
You're like, yeah, nah, fuck this shit. I'm done with this. Yeah, I'm done with this.
did
Trying to get tied in a pretzel.
Did any of those sport or like any of those disciplines with any of those sports translate to your approach on motorcycle racing?
I think bicycle riding helped because even though there are a lot of differences, especially like racing, let alone riding a motorcycle, but just like being on two wheels and like that sensation in the movements, I think at a really young age, still like kind of translates somewhere like deep in your brain. You're getting that muscle memory.
Yeah.
So I think that helped. I mean, I think even playing sports like baseball, hand-eye coordination's obviously a really big part of playing sport like that. So, you know, I'm sure it all helps, but of course, yeah, it probably would have been better to be racing like a dirt bike.
Yeah, at a young age.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I was about to say,
getting
man,
the seat time. Yeah.
Yeah, because like you know, if you knew like jujitsu, you know, in jujitsu, it's a grappling combat sport, Chris. So you learn a lot about like flexibility on like what your body can do, and it works out a lot of the little muscles. So I feel like sports like that could definitely translate to motorcycle racing because you're using muscles that not a lot of people kind of exercise. You know what I mean? So because like imagine a power lifter trying to race motorcycles, they don't have that flexibility and they're only depending on their big muscle groups. So they're throwing that thing around instead of working with it. And I feel like there are some sports where you can kind of get to know your body on a functioning level that can help with how you ride motorcycles. I'll tell you about like wrestling or like jujitsu where you have to work on your flexibility, your timing, and those little muscle groups.
No, that's a good point you bring up. And yeah, sorry it keeps freezing. I don't know if it's on my Mac or I don't know what's going on with that. Maybe the software is just not working that well. Yeah, flexibility is really big. I think even bigger than just being able to ride the bike is a lot of people don't get that your flexibility is a big factor in your injury prevention. Like sometimes people, especially like older guys that have seen a lot of crashes or they just been around street riding only, they almost don't believe me when I say I haven't broken a bone, which now that I've said that on this podcast, it's going to happen. But I've been really lucky, even though I've had quite a lot of crashes, really the only like, I don't think I've really ever had what I call serious injury. I did have a concussion about a year ago, but it's a motocross crash, of course. Yeah. and I domed myself. I domed myself pretty good, but even that was like a minor one. I was okay really within a few days. So yeah, the flexibility you would get from something like jujitsu and like that sort of training regimen is probably really good. Like I'm trying to focus on my flexibility more because I kind of like neglected that. I think I was lucky being in the military that I was kind of like forced to do some sorts of workouts and exercises that most people wouldn't. Because I remember being like 18 thinking like, oh, why are we warming up? Stretching, this is boring. I just want to go like, you know, go do the 1.5 mile run or go, you know, do whatever we're going to do. But you learn as you get more experience in the sport that stuff really does matter a lot.
So with that being said, and this is a question for both of you, do you think specifically in two-wheeled motorsports, do you think that fitness is more in the spotlight now than it ever has been, like during the Valentino, Casey Stoner days? Do you feel like fitness has definitely been more of a spotlight nowadays with our current athletes, especially because of all the
one
kids that are
thousand
getting
percent.
injured
Yeah.
or the
I
kids
hope
that
Oh,
are
so.
dying.
1000%. Part of that is also just because the whole like fitness supplement influencer industry is like it's gone
It's
insane,
huge.
right? With like
Yeah.
Instagram, TikTok, all that. So just that alone is like a big factor, but also I always think about this interview with Jeremy McGrath. So you probably know Jeremy McGrath, but that's a really
Absolutely.
famous
Yeah, I know Chris
motocross,
knows him.
supercross racer.
Yes.
Yeah, he was like my idol when I was like 7 years
Yeah.
old.
Me too. Me
Um,
too.
but he has an interview he did on I don't know what it was a few years ago, and he talks about how when he was racing, his peak was like late '90s, early 2000s.
Hmm.
They just wanted to live the rock star life, right?
Yeah,
They're
I
getting all the
figured.
fame, they're racing, whatever. And then Ricky Carmichael came along, and he wasn't like that, right? He was a serious pro athlete. So
Mhm.
he was like, his level of training intensity was just through the roof. And he started winning everything. And all the other guys realized, like, if we're going to compete at this like new higher level, we can't party every weekend, drink every weekend. We have to like start working out all the time and riding all the time,
Right.
like legitimate pro athletes. And I think since that turning point in the early 2000s, I think the focus on fitness has gone up, and then with social media in the last like 10 years, I think like even more. Yeah.
It, it has, and it that spread across all road racing formats and platforms too,
Right.
as well.
Like Fresh
Yeah.
and Lean, with their sponsor with the Yamaha boys, just promoting healthy eating. Because like I feel like back then, people would be like they would have like a full course meal, smoke a cigar, and then go race.
Well, back then, bro, Barry Sheen would sit on the grid smoking a cigarette. They called him a fag. The fag, right, and put his helmet on, and go race. And as soon as he get off,
So-
drink and smoke again. So yeah.
That's crazy.
So the rules has changed since I was telling them about how Barry Sheen used to sit on the grid and smoke a cigarette and go race a bike and come back and drink and smoke some more. So yeah, the fitness and the things have changed for sure.
I know
Off again,
there's
so I kind of missed what Jules said about Fresh and Lean.
Oh no, because we were talking about the promotion of health, and Fresh and Lean was Fresh and Lean, at least from when I came into the sport, it was like the biggest component of promoting healthy eating. I understand weight saving. I understand that the lighter you are, the faster you would ideally be, right? Because you're 100 something pounds. However, with everybody getting injured as much as they are now, I feel like people should be lifting a little bit more, building up a little bit more muscle density, I guess for career longevity. Because even the simplest of even though they're going, like, I get it, they're going 100 plus 200 plus miles an hour, whatever, what have you. But there are some crashes where I'm just like, damn, if they had a little bit of meat in their bones, they could probably survive that crash unscathed. But because these guys are so skinny and so frail, and I see some of their like fucking Maverick Vinales posted his training video the other day, and I thought he was gonna tear a rotator cuff with half the shit he was doing.
Yeah, it says like really fine balance. I mean, part of it, like when you're talking about those MotoGP guys, they're just like, they just have the horse jockey genetics. They're like 5'6" and just really, really tiny guys.
Mm-hmm.
And you look at some of the American racers, they're usually a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's that's not even like really theory. We can look at studies that show that resistance training, aka like lifting weights, does increase your muscle strength and your bone density and helps you be more resistant to injury. Like I incorporate weightlifting into my routine.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not like lifting super heavy.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever done more than, I think my best deadlift I ever did was 365, and I probably can't even do that right now.
God damn. I'm at 325 right now.
I mean, I would like to say that's a good number, but compared to like guys that are really serious in the lifting, they're lifting like well over that. But you kind of need to balance your strength with like excess weight. But to be honest, and I was just telling my teammate this yesterday.
Mhm.
I think the number of guys that would be limited by like their muscle weight is really low. You know, if you look at like all the riders across the country, and like you bring up fresh and lean, it's just it's no secret that you really have to be smart and like have a good lifestyle to have that like lean good body with our just modern American society. You know, look at the food we've had and how it's changed since like the 50s, 60s, 80s up to now. I think you said Barry Sheen's like smoking a cigarette on the grid. Yeah, I mean, those guys, I don't know. Something about that old man strains. I saw the same thing in the military. You know, I see guys. You know, they're in like epic. You see like kind of senior non-NCOs. You know, they're probably in like their mid to late 30s. But for the military, that's already getting old. And then, you know, they're like hungover. They smoke 2 cigarettes and then they go bust out like 5-minute miles, like it's nothing. So I don't know. Some guys just have the genetics in the body for that. Yeah, they just have it.
They just have it. I mean, if you look at people like I'm shouting him out real quick. You look at people like Cam Peterson, like that dude's got muscle. He walks around the paddock a lot with no shirt on. And I'm just like, yeah, look at him. He's looking pretty beefy.
Yeah. No, some of these guys are a lot stronger than people think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Garrett Gerloff posted some pretty
huge, bro.
Pretty
rip, son.
Tank.
Right. He's posted some pretty shredded photos online, and
damn right.
Yeah, these guys are strong.
Yeah, and
they're like fucking beast mode.
I mean, some people have a dad bod like Petrucci. Petrucci's got that dad body, and then you have that.
He is round. Petrucci is round. He's a round person, right? Yeah.
I'm sure he works out, but it's just like where, like, I know his diet is not that fucked up. You know what I mean?
Nah, it can't be.
I'm back again. But I was gonna say, like, when you are super lean, like Gerloff or any of those guys. You know, like you're not gonna.
Oh, he's frozen. Gerloff is a fucking tank, bro. That's pure like
Gerloff
southern muscle. Oh, there he's back.
So, yeah, I think like a lot of guys have like a warped sense of what like a really strong guy looks like, just because it's easy to like see the influencers on Instagram. But all those guys are taking D-ball, they're taking trend, they're taking testosterone. And so that's why they're so big. You know, even in racing, I know for a fact that there's guys that are taking PEDs, stuff like maybe even softer stuff like SARMs. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I guarantee you, to get a guy like Marquez to heal faster, they're giving him drugs.
100%.
Oh yeah, for sure.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that.
Is there a wellness policy against steroid use? Because so there's WADA, which is the like anti-drug thing. Anti-doping. So that same policy governs FIM, FIA, the AMA. They all have anti-drug policies, but
how often?
I don't know I don't know how it's enforced. Like,
I'm sure.
I don't think the AMA is really testing.
Yeah, I was gonna say, have you ever got pulled off the racetrack to pee in a cup?
No, I haven't. I don't know of anyone that has. It seems that they're doing some type of enforcement because we saw Iannone got popped for steroid use.
Right.
You know.
No. Hold on. That was in the steak, man. That was in the steak.
Oh, that was in the meat, bro.
That was in the fucking meat, dude. Are you kidding me right now? I would never do that. No way.
I would like to know where I can buy the steroid meat so that I can get yoked.
Right.
He is yoked.
You can get a Kroger down the street.
He's freaking jacked.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. you can tell he's been using stuff like his physique's just almost too good. I mean, obviously he's got good genetics and that's helping, but yeah, I think even more in motocross and supercross, there's probably more people using PEDs. Like, is Gagne using drugs? Probably not, but could he be? I don't know.
Yeah, nobody knows.
Yeah, no, you really don't know.
Mm-mm.
So,
But
I don't know. That's like its own tangent.
on the flip side of that, though, Andrew, you got a bunch of people, especially kids in Moto 2 and Moto 3, that are absolutely fucking starving themselves because but it's not. But how much weight training are they actually putting in? Because if they're afraid if they put on muscle, then they're going to weigh more. Therefore, they're not going to be as fast,
It's definitely
right?
a misconception, in my opinion.
So it is. So I see it as a plus being healthy because everybody needs to eat healthy and everybody needs to exercise, right? But to what length? What are they going to let it go? Especially in the smaller classes with kids coming up, not here, a lot in Moto America, but especially in Moto 2 and Moto 3. I mean, especially Moto 3 kids, you see some of them, you're like, if the wind blows, this motherfucker's 5 miles down the street, right? Yeah, it's it's been well talked about within the community as far as that goes. Because there's got to be a healthy weight, and especially for the smaller kids coming up,
And I think that's what they're doing with the whole the age increase. I think are they enforcing that? No, not yet. They're still talking about it.
Oh,
in Moto
the
2 they
14
are,
to
but
28?
yeah. Moto 3.
Oh, Moto 2.
Moto 3.
Oh, yeah, I think
They should, in my opinion.
I think Moto 3 is 14 to 28, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah, because so some of these kids, man, like they're so frail, and like seeing the kids that have passed because of injuries that could be prevented if their bodies were fully developed, and I guess that's like a whole topic within itself. But
yeah, that's a whole nother discussion. Yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
believe,
we'll say that for some other time for sure.
For real,
right?
That's a story old as time. I remember.
It is.
I remember when I was like 12, 13.
It is, well, it is. It's like, but at the same time, Jules, I understand where you're coming from, and I see your point. But
safety,
it dropped me out again.
Oh no!
But I was gonna say,
okay.
like, I remember when you're in like little league or like middle school baseball, they really don't want you to throw stuff like curveballs because I guess.
Oh no, he's frozen.
Yeah, he froze up.
Yeah.
No, I'm frozen.
Oh no, he's back.
Yeah, all right, there you go.
Yeah, man.
That must be some delay.
So a curveball.
Oh yeah, I was just saying how when I was a kid, like 12, 13, they really didn't want us to like learn how to throw that because of like the risk of injury when you're still developing, and it's a lot of force through your elbow. So same thing. Like I don't think that's ever going to change because when there's money on the line, people are willing to risk their body. So
that's a fact, and especially for the sports you love too, right?
Exactly.
Because every time you throw a leg over that bike and you get on the track, whether it's a track day or road race,
you're aware of the risks.
You already know the risk, right? But you're willing to accept it, and that's because you love it.
Hell yeah!
So therefore, it makes it okay to you.
But all in all, I think you should build muscle. Definitely build muscle because fitness
Absolutely.
is fucking important. You don't have to be Arnold. Well, I mean, shit. If you could be Arnold, damn, like that's some shit.
Yeah.
You might as well just carry the bike to the finish line. But
I got one question for both of y'all. How the fuck did Josh Herring get OnlyFans as a sponsor?
I would love to get more into that discussion, but I gotta leave for work.
He's just good at marketing. Is the answer to that.
I see that. That's
shit.
Fucking mega, though, right? Yeah.
Shit.
So, Andrew, what's your plans for next year? This year? Sorry, I'm thinking it's still 2022.
So I did get my Moto America AMA Super Sport license, so I am going to be racing the 600 this season. Yeah, thanks.
Real quick,
That's mega.
Real quick. Chris, do you mind closing out the show for us? Because I gotta go.
Go ahead, Jules. I got it.
Cool. All right. Well, from me to you, Andrew, thank you so much for being here. I can't wait to hit you up after the show and talk about it. But I'm gonna let Chris hold it down from here. Chris, all you, bud.
Awesome.
All right.
Thanks for having me. I'll see you later.
See ya. Enjoy, guys.
See ya.
Yeah, appreciate it. So what was we just saying, Andrew?
Oh, you were saying
That just caught me off guard for a second. Anyway, yeah, so your plans, you just got your professional license, 600 Super Sport this year, right?
Yeah. So right now, what really sucks is being in California. They've kind of taken away for either it's a complex problem, but there's not many rounds left anymore on the West Coast. So I would really love to do Laguna, Sonoma, and Utah, but Utah and Sonoma aren't on the calendar anymore.
Right.
So Laguna is the only track that's close, and then there's the Ridge in Washington, which is like I don't know. I think it's like at least a 14-hour drive without stops. So it's doable. Just it would.
That's a drive. That's a hike.
It's still a long drive.
Yeah.
So I know for sure we're gonna do Laguna again. Me and my team with JPH Suspension, Chris Maronian. I plan to do the full season of AFM. That's
Very
coming
nice.
up, starting. I think our first round's March 18th. So I'll have the ZX6R ready by then. See how that goes.
Have you ever hooked up with Dustin Cornier down there at Track Days?
Yeah, I know Dustin. I've seen him at the track quite a few times. Yeah, he's running his own organization now, CRA. Probably aware.
Have you ever run that?
Yeah, I have CRA number 25. I think I'm gonna do 1 or 2 rounds with them this season. Their schedule doesn't line up perfectly for me to do all the rounds plus AFM, but it looks like there's 1 or 2 rounds to be able to get out too, especially with that new track. It's supposed to be built at Button Willow. I think they have some rounds there.
Yeah. He's telling me about that.
Yeah, so I am a little excited to do that new track, and
well, we lost him again, but he'll be back in here in a second. I hope you guys are enjoying this as much as we love doing it, because Andrew's a super mega guy. Yeah, and I'm super excited to see his career in 2023 come up. It's going to be great. There he is.
Yeah, it kicked me out again. I don't know what's going on with that.
I don't know what's going on with that either. But the good thing is Jules can edit all that. Those times it kicks you out, so it'll be one continuous podcast. So we won't even see any of that. And your froze up again. But there you are. So yeah. So I don't know if you heard me.
Jules, I heard you.
Yeah. He'll edit all that stuff out, so we'll be good to go. So, man, Andrew, that's great. That's big news, man. I'm super pumped. I can't wait to stay in touch and learn about all your race results. And of course, I'll put them up on Pin the Gas Podcast Facebook page. And I'm really looking forward to Friday going live. Me and Jules was actually talking about it before the podcast started. And we're gonna have a great time. Yeah, it's gonna be an epic time, right? So yeah, man, I can't wait. So why don't you let everybody know, Andrew, where they could find you and follow you at Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, all that good stuff.
Yeah. So all my social media is pretty much the same name. It's just gonna be my name, Andrew Gawer, or maybe Andrew Gawer 25 for like Instagram, TikTok. So I'm on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok mainly. Trying to put out, I make a lot of just funny content like memes and stuff. I'm trying to put out a little bit more good riding videos, maybe, help newer riders out there. And then I want to definitely give a big thanks to, all my sponsors helping me, like JPH Suspension's been really crucial. Wonder CBD, aka Wonder Extracts. They have the great products that I'm sure many would love to try out if available in your area. CT Racing Pirelli, I've been using the tires for the last 5 years, great tires. PCP Motorsports here in Sacramento, great dealership. So if you're local to Northern California, go check them out. 64 Degree Racing, base layers, Galfer brakes, Motul I use for all my lubricants, all my chemicals. So big thanks to all those guys.
That's awesome. I do have another question though. Before we actually get off here is on your typical race weekend that you do, who are your members on your team? Is it just you and one other guy, or do you have two other people with you? Or
So we've kind of had the same team going roughly since about 2018, but the people have changed a little bit, kind of just as people have been coming in and out of racing. So I've been mainly racing with a guy named Chris Maroney and Brandon Crawford and Jordan Edgington, all AFM racers. And both Jordan and Brandon are top 10 AFM racers. They're really, really fast, really crazy talented guys. And then Jason Hans, JP Suspension. But he doesn't really do track days and stuff anymore like he used to. It just comes out to the races. And I don't have like a dedicated mechanic or anyone like that. I wish to help me out. A lot of times it's just me kind of wrenching on the bike myself.
right.
And then
So you do all your
we've
own
got
tire changes and all that?
yeah, a lot of that I'm doing myself. Sometimes I'm lucky enough to get someone out to help me. I've had some pretty cool guys like Jason Chapman from AFM, Sean Keane, who actually works for Dunlop, has helped me before, and some guys like that. But yeah, a lot of times just it sucks, but it's the privateer life of, you gotta build your own bike, fix your own bike, change your tires and brakes, and race it yourself.
You know, the safety wire and all that good stuff, right? Yeah.
Yep,
Tire warmers
all
on,
that
tire
stuff.
warmers off, rear stands
I
on
learned
and
how to.
off. Yep.
Yep. Sometimes we have the girlfriend doing the tire warmers and all that. Whatever works.
Whatever works. I've been there and done that. Trust me. I remember my first track day I showed up and I was like, how am I gonna get my bikes off these? Like, just how am I gonna do all this? Right? It was so overwhelming, because I was by myself, but it was kind of stupid to go by yourself for your first track day, right? But nobody wanted to go with me, so I was like, you know what, I'm determined, I'm doing this. And it was just a little overwhelming at first, because you had tire warmers and front and rear stands, and you had to go and the talk.
Oh, it's a lot to
all
learn.
that stuff. Oh my God, it was so much to take in. And then I was so nervous, and just my anxiety was so bad. My ADHD was just off the roof that when it finally come down to riding, man, I had such a great time, but I wasn't really into it. Like mind focused wise is what I mean, right? Just because all the overwhelming of everything else that went on with the first track day experience. But yeah, it was definitely worth it, and I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Yeah, it's a big learning curve, but it's fun.
It's why we love the sport we love, right?
All right.
It is. Well, Andrew, hey man, it's been a mega time, man, and I appreciate it. I really do. We want to have you on again later on in the season. We'll have you back on, and as we've already talked about, I can't wait till Friday. And that's something we can do too during the season, not just the podcast. So we can always, go on Facebook Live and talk and shoot the shit.
Yeah,
for sure.
We'll see. We'll see. We'll see what happens Friday. I think it'll be.
It's going to be a great show. No, it's going to be great, just like today, right? Right. I mean, look, Andrew.
Yeah.
We're learning too, right? So everybody has technical difficulties. We have still technical difficulties, and it's just something that we learn and we progress together, right? And sometimes the podcast don't work out, and we got to reshoot it all over again. Whether it's something on my side or Jules' side or Riverside or whatever it is, but we make it happen and we get it done, and we have a really good time doing it.
Yeah.
So yeah. But man, Andrew, I appreciate it, man. And
No, it's been a good talk. It's been a good talk.
yeah. I told you we'd have a good time. Yeah, absolutely, man. So yeah, I appreciate everybody tuning in. I'm Christian Stowe Simcoe from Pin the Gas Podcast with my man Andrew. And until next